Welcome to On Point by Target River, the podcast where strategy meets execution with a little fun. I'm your host, Brian, and each episode will break down what actually works in marketing, sales, and growth so you can stay sharp, focused, and always on point. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to On Point with Target River. And for the past 20 episodes, you've had to listen to me drone on about different topics, and I've been entertained. Hopefully you have been, at least occasionally along the way. Today, we wanted to mix it up a little bit, and I've invited a new friend of mine, Brittany Wood, who is Mrs. Utah America, to join us on the podcast today. So first of all, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, of course. And we just got introduced to each other a handful of weeks ago.
Yes, not too long ago.
A mutual friend of ours from Utah Valley University knew that we love to support different causes and initiatives in Utah and reached out and thought we might be a good mix. And after a few conversations, here we are.
Yes, it's amazing. I'm so glad we're able to be connected and feel that my purpose really aligns well with what you're doing. So it's exciting.
Well, like a lot of people, you're busy, right?
Yes.
You wear a lot, I was going to say a lot of hats, but I guess I should use the word crowns. You have a lot of
Yes.
crowns that you wear in your life, right? So what
Yes.
are the things that have you going day to day?
Yes, definitely. So I do work in marketing full time and have a full time role with a pest control company running their marketing department. And then I'm also a wife and a mother. I have 3 children, a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and 6-year-old.
Okay.
Yes.
So
they
you're
keep me
knee
busy.
deep.
Yes. We're in the thick of it right now for sure. And then I also am lucky to hold the title of Mrs. Utah America, and I'll be going on to compete for Mrs. America this fall.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So each of those in its own right is a busy role.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Okay. I have 4 kids, but mine are in their 20s. So,
Okay, so you've made it
it's,
through.
yes, it's not the day-to-day things, but
Sure.
sometimes it's the bigger things like
Yes.
discussing marriage, discussing careers and stuff. So there's certain
Yes.
days I love this, but there's other days I'd love to go right back to the toddler
To the
stage.
simple days.
Yeah. So I can't imagine that. So marketing, how long have you been in the marketing industry?
Yes, so I've actually been in marketing since high school.
Okay.
I initially was going to go into like musical theater, performing arts, those kind of things. And I had a business teacher who really believed in me. And she saw that I had little skills and talents that she thought would lend well to working in marketing. And so she got me involved in DECA, if you've heard
Yeah.
of that. Yeah. So I was the Utah DECA president in 2016.
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, so that kind of fueled my passion for marketing. And I've been in the space ever since. So I've run kind of my own marketing for small businesses all
Okay.
the way up to working in a large company running their marketing department.
That's great. So I've been in marketing my whole career, and I
Amazing.
often get people asking me, "Oh my gosh, things are so different. What,
Yes.
you've seen a lot of changes," and sometimes I'll say, "Yes, that's true," but then there's other aspects that I think are consistent. So in your time,
Absolutely.
from studying it in school and being a part of DECA, which is a great program, to even today, what would you say is something that's innovative or different now versus when you first started? And then what's something though that you feel is the same principle or the same
Yeah.
practice?
I love that question. First thing that comes to mind, of course, is AI and
Okay.
social media has the ability to go viral, I think has absolutely shifted. Even in just the past 9-10 years that I've been in marketing. In the beginning, virality was more of an odd concept. You had to make some big Super Bowl commercial or do
Yeah.
something really iconic to go viral. So that's kind of really interesting that now you can just go viral next day after you post something. So that's
Okay.
definitely interesting. Also, the introduction of AI has made things difficult. I think a big thing I focus on in my marketing is authenticity. And AI can be a tool for authenticity or it can be the detriment to authenticity. So that's definitely something you kind of have to battle in this new landscape. A consistent principle, I would say, is consistency, actually. That the more that you are consistent with what you do in your marketing, the more successful you'll be. So start posting today and post every day. You're going to see success more than if you just post one here, one there. And
Kind of the randomness can actually
Exactly.
almost backfire.
Absolutely. It makes you seem unreliable or lazy or confused.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think a lot of people would assume that AI has just made everything better in marketing.
Yes.
But I think we had the discussion earlier today, actually, in an internal meeting about the pros and cons of it and the appropriate use of it, right?
Absolutely.
For us at Target River, we'll often use it for thought starters or ideas.
Yes.
You know, hey, we've got a new product or a new client or a new thing. What are some ways we can take this? What direction and stuff? But when it comes to telling the story, I love that word you shared, authenticity, right? Because I heard a phrase years ago from somebody that said, we do business or we purchase from people that we know, like, and trust. Right. And it's hard to create that through AI. Right.
For sure.
I mean, I'm sure you've seen posts with illustrations on social media.
Yes.
Like, clearly that was done by AI because there's too much detail and it's too nicely done for my friend who posted that.
Absolutely. I've seen that a lot on LinkedIn, funny enough. I think there's a lot of people trying to boost their credibility and really appear professional. And so that's why they've turned to AI. And it's really interesting as I scroll my LinkedIn feed, I just see the same post after the same post. And I think as someone who works in marketing, we see things like, for example, the XYZ format is what I call it, where ChatGPT will say, I think this because XYZ. And, it's proper grammar, and we all were taught that in grade school, but nobody writes like that every single time. And ChatGPT does. Or it'll say, it's not this, it's that.
Yes.
And these are all just indicators that something was written by AI. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't use AI at all, but there's a line where every single post you make feels inauthentic if they're all showing those indicators.
Yeah, that's so true. So before we jump into the crown, I want to kind of, what was the journey like to decide, first of all, have you had a long time passion for participating in pageantry, or where did that journey begin?
Yeah, funny enough. So back when I was 11, I lost my father to suicide, and it obviously was a big impact on my life and kind of dulled my sparkle a little bit. And I had a really hard time being with my friends and kind of keeping that confidence. And so my mom saw the opportunity for a pageant, and she thought this would be a fun way to, help her put herself back out there. She knows I love performing. She knows I love being on stage. And so she actually signed me up for it. And I placed second runner up over the state. And it was just a moment where I felt so confident and so incredible. It just was a great feeling to feel so uplifted, and the girls that weekend were great as well. So that's kind of what dipped my toes into pageantry. Thought that was the end of things, never went back to it. And then back in high school, when I was done being the Utah DECA president, I had the opportunity to compete for Miss American Fork. And so competed. It's a great scholarship program. I was looking for ways to kind of boost my, college resume. And I was lucky enough to be crowned Miss American Fork, and was going on to compete for Miss Utah in the, unmarried division.
Yes.
And funny enough, I met my husband just a few short weeks later. And
so you disqualified yourself.
Yes, I did. Yes, we got engaged very quickly, knew he was the one. And now I, decided to give up my title back then. And now we've been married for 8 years. We'll be going on 9 next year. And so I thought pageantry was in the past and had given it up for him. It felt like a worthy cause. And, thought that was over.
He's a lucky guy, I guess. He didn't give up a crown.
I do hold it over his head. Don't worry. But about 2 years ago, I found out that there was a pageant for married women and celebrating really women in all stages of life. And there's no age requirements with it. It's just any married woman can compete for this title. And I saw Hannah Nealman, if you've heard of Ballerina Farms. She's, very popular across the state of Utah, really iconic. And she was a former Mrs. Utah America. And so that's where I heard about the program and knew I had to give it a shot. So I actually competed 2 years ago and made top 10. And then competed this year and was lucky enough to come home with the title.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And so when were you crowned Mrs. Utah?
Yes, so I was crowned in mid-March. So I'm about 3 months in now.
Got you. And do you wear the crown for a year or
yes.
what?
Yes, I get to wear the crown for a year. If I'm lucky enough to be crowned Mrs. America, at that point I would give up my Mrs. Utah title and be Mrs.
You get
America.
to upgrade. All right. Okay.
Yes,
and
so
when does that pageant occur?
Yeah, that competition starts August 25th is check-in, and it goes all the way through September 3rd. So it's 9 days.
Oh my goodness.
High intensity. Yeah, it'll be down at the Westgate in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it'll be fun. I'm excited.
Fantastic. And I know very little about pageants, but I have seen and observed that often crown, those that are wearing a crown will have certain initiatives or causes that they want to amplify the voice of. So tell me a little bit about the things that the storytelling that you've been doing so far and things that you would like to tell more stories about while you wear this, have this title.
Yeah, I really, that's the reason I decided to pick up pageantry again, was my passion for domestic violence prevention.
Okay.
And part of my story starts when I was younger. I actually was raised in a home with domestic violence, and that's when it ended with my father taking his life. And through that experience, now it's been over 15 years since we lost him. And I think it has really shaped who I am as an individual. And I've gone through the different phases of being quiet about what I've been through versus being really open and talking about the things I've been through. And I found that although those moments in my life have been very impactful, that they don't have to define me, but that what I do with that can. And I see sharing my story really shines light to so many people who are in similar experiences. And if just one person is able to get help through the resources that I'm sharing across the state, then all of the work that I do is worth it. And working in the pageant, it is 100% volunteer work. We're
really
service oriented, and that's what I'm here to do. So I'm working to get domestic violence resources out across the state.
Oh, that's fantastic, because it is an important cause, and there are so many people that have experienced it, and might be at different stages of their recovery through it.
Yes.
I serve on the National Board for Prevent Child Abuse of America.
It's amazing.
And it was a personal cause for me because I was abused as a child. And, for many years, I wasn't in a place where I could be a voice, because it was still too raw for me.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Everybody, I think, gets through things at a different pace.
Yes.
And it helps when those that have experienced things can see others who have made it through that situation, that tough time, right?
Yeah.
Because it gives you hope or light that maybe you too can get through that physical healing or emotional healing or that recovery that occurs.
Yeah.
So obviously this is a great platform for you to share from and to help amplify that message and bring it on point for people that do need the help.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm glad you bring up kind of talking about getting through something or kind of making it to the other side.
Yeah.
I think it's so important. My platform specifically is called Beyond Survival, Domestic Violence Prevention and Awareness. And the reason I titled it Beyond Survival is because I think it's so important to recognize that what you've been through, like I said, doesn't have to define you, but there's so much more to it. After you make it through this difficult situation, you're going to have times where you're feeling great and you're making great progress in your life. And then there's going to be other times where you feel down about it and you feel that you're stuck, or you could feel that you've taken steps backwards and that you're stuck where you used to be. And so I think it's important to focus on the many phases of life and how you can go through these healing phases, and that there is so much more beyond survival.
So it's not just a single point that, okay, I've survived it, I'm on. It's a life journey.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Journey is a perfect way to describe it.
Yeah, no, I think for me too, it's that same way where there's plenty of times where I just feel perfectly fine and okay.
Yes.
And then there'll be something that triggers a memory and you didn't even realize it was still back there in the
fresh
the inner parts of your brain where those memories are stored, and you're like, I didn't even know that was there still.
Just hits you.
And sometimes it does hit you like a wall even.
It does.
And I love that concept of that ongoing journey to work through things and that. So how do people learn more about that cause and can support you?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked. There's a couple different ways. For those who are looking for immediate help and resources, the quickest way to find them would be to go to mrsutah.org. It's a website that I've built, which has access to a lot of different things, including my own personal story, but also Utah resources specifically.
Okay.
There's also some national resources available. And the reason that's so important is because Utah is actually funded very well when it comes to mental health crises and domestic violence support and resources. However, a lot of the resources aren't well known. And so these resources could be at risk of losing their funding if people aren't using them enough. Yes.
And that's ironic because many times you hear there's not enough
there's
money.
no resources.
Yeah.
And yes. And so it's important that people have the word out because there is help waiting for them with open arms. And that's one thing I'm very proud of with the state of Utah is that we do have these resources. So I would go to mrsutah.org. You can find some resources there. And then you can also visit my social media accounts, which is Mrs. Utah America on Instagram and Facebook.
Mrs. Utah America.
That's
Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Many of us don't know what happens at a pageant. So so you said 8 days.
Yeah, 9 days.
Or 9 days in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Okay. What will you be put through? What types of things are going to happen?
Yeah, so there's so many different elements to it. A lot of it is networking with amazing women, connecting with great businesses, local organizations, charities. We do service projects, those kind of things throughout the week. As far as the competition aspect, our competition is a range of a personal interview that we have with each of the judges. We sit down just like you and I are right now. We talk for about 5 minutes, and then we round robin to the next judge, which is the bulk of our score. Majority of the score comes from that.
Okay.
And then the other portions are more traditional pageant portions. There's an evening gown, and there's a swimsuit competition, and then there's also 2 on-stage questions. But there's no talent. I get asked that quite often. What talent are you doing?
Right,
because
no we all remember over the years, somebody singing or playing the violin or something.
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's no talent. I do sing, but...
I was going to say, if there was a talent portion, what would you do?
Yes, I would definitely sing. Probably, You Raise Me Up or something, Josh Groban. Those are my favorites.
That's your style. That's your
it's
jam,
my go-to.
Huh?
Yeah,
okay, got it.
Definitely. But yeah, so those are kind of the elements of the competition.
Wow. And then at the end of this, there's a big reveal with the placing and everything?
Yeah, so initially they'll cut us down to the top 15.
Okay.
And the top 15 do the whole pageant over again. So
oh my goodness.
Everything they've done, they get a do-over, aside from the interview. The interview score remains, but they'll get to do all the on-stage portions, so you can see everyone together in their evening gowns and all of that. So I'm really excited. I think it's an amazing opportunity, not only to, put myself out there with the challenges and things that I'm working towards, but also to connect with all the amazing women. Because if you think about the platform and the purpose that I have, every other woman there has one as well.
There's 50 different stories
exactly.
and platforms being told.
Yes. And so there's just so much power in one room, and it's just inspiring.
Gotcha. Let's bring it local for a second, since you are representing Utah. What are some things that you have observed, and you've been here for a while, right?
Yeah, born and raised.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we look ahead the next year or two, what are some exciting things that you see on the horizon in our state?
Oh, that's a great question. I think, well, first of all, first thing that comes to mind is this weekend with the 4th of July and the 250th anniversary celebration is so exciting. There's so many fun events.
You're probably busy.
Yes, chock full all the way from about the 2nd until the 6th. So we'll be busy, but I would say just the community and connection. There's so much happening in Utah all of the time. And as Mrs. Utah, my eyes have been really open to that, how if you just go online and search Utah events and just scroll and scroll and scroll, there's so many fun events. And I think that's something that Utah prioritizes and prides itself on, is the connection. And if you're, a Utahn who maybe doesn't feel as connected in your community, I would challenge you to go search that out and see what events are in my local town. And I think you'd be impressed and surprised what Utah has.
Yeah. I spent most of my life in San Diego.
Oh, amazing.
And I moved here to Salt Lake City area about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And so first question I often get asked is, why did you leave San Diego? Right? Because many people have visited San Diego, think it's one of the best places on earth. And it does have amazing weather and so many things. But I had already been to SeaWorld 1,000 times, and the zoo and the beaches and stuff, and I was ready for a new adventure. But when you move, and especially as an adult, it's not like I can go to the local playground and make some new friends on the swing or at the ball field and stuff. So
Wouldn't that be nice?
I know.
Hey,
will you be my friend? Like, let's go.
Play.
And but for me, I was like, wow, I'm here as a full-grown adult. How is that going to be? And I will tell you, Utahns welcomed me with open arms.
Oh, I love to hear that.
And the connections that I've been able to make in a short period of time amazed me.
That's so good.
And I don't know that I had any expectation one way or another.
Sure.
But it was just exciting to see, and how many different folks want to connect and also create ways to connect.
Yeah,
Right? To
definitely.
create those opportunities to help serve for a cause or volunteer or connect and collaborate. And your suggestion to do a search is powerful. The chambers of commerce that exist to help
Yes.
businesses connect, the nonprofits. It's amazing how many incredible initiatives that are going on
So
that
true.
have a mission, have a purpose that they are on point for.
Absolutely.
Just earlier today, I was on a call with some of the leadership from Junior Achievement of Utah and Idaho.
Oh, amazing.
And every year they serve around 100,000 students here in Utah with curriculum that helps them learn financial literacy,
Wow.
helps them prepare for future career opportunities,
Right.
and so many things just going on just in this state,
Wow.
And
Yeah.
and there's hundreds, if not thousands, of other things going on as we speak right now
So
with
true.
those types of causes. So,
And I love that you mentioned youth programs specifically, because I think that's somewhere Utah really shines. And
okay.
showing that you mentioned financial literacy for youth. I think that's such a powerful concept for younger people to make smarter decisions about their finances from the beginning. And I think that's just one example of how Utah really prioritizes their youth. So that's exciting.
No, it is a great state with so many great things happening, and the
Yeah.
Olympics coming back again
Yes,
in
which would be so
2034.
fun.
I know, it's like it's so many years away, but just like everything in life, it'll be here before we know it.
Absolutely. Yeah. My husband and I are really excited for that. I was just about 2 years old when the Olympics were here last time.
Okay.
But my husband was a bit older. And so
Yeah.
he, has a lot of pictures. He was able to go with, I think it was his first grade class. And
Oh my
they took
goodness.
him to the Olympics. So he's excited to take our kids in 2034, I believe.
Yep.
It's exciting.
I had tickets as a preteen to go to the Los Angeles Olympic Games,
Oh,
and my
wow.
dad made me go to our playoff sports game
No.
instead as a youth. And I was like the scrawny little kid on the team at that time. And I was like, I don't provide any value to this team. I want to go to the Olympics,
Gotta
but we
go to the
missed out. So I have already got my tickets for the 2028 games to some
Wow.
events, and I will be going in 2034 as
That's
well.
amazing.
Yep. It's one of
We'll
those,
see you there.
one of those lifetime experience opportunities, right?
Yes.
Just kind of like what you're doing right now,
Yes,
right?
definitely feels like a once in a lifetime experience, and I'm trying to just soak it all up. I only get this for a year, so I'm trying to enjoy it.
So you don't get to defend your crown?
No, I will happily give it to the next woman.
Happily.
Very deserving.
Gotcha. All right.
yes.
Before we wrap up, I'm going to
Yes.
put you on the spot.
Yeah.
For those, we have a lot of listeners that are maybe own businesses
Yeah.
or manage them. They might be managing a nonprofit. If you had a little nugget that you could share when it comes to marketing
Yeah.
to help them grow their platform, their message, what's a takeaway or two that you could offer the listeners today on that?
Yeah, I mean, I would lead with my first point is always consistency. As I mentioned before, the more consistent you are, the more success you'll see. So figure out what's realistic for you and your business. If you think you can see yourself posting once or twice a week, commit to that and stick to it, and you will
Okay.
see success through that. But my second point would be don't try and do everything yourself. It's impossible for one business owner to do everything to their best capability. There's just not enough hours in the day. And
Yeah.
my husband's an entrepreneur. He owns a roofing company. And
Okay.
I witness it firsthand, watching him try and juggle all the different hats. And you just can't do everything yourself. And so I would say it's so important to know what tasks to delegate out. And when it comes to marketing, having a really strong marketing agency is what's going to help you succeed in that area.
Very good. I heard a phrase, I don't know how long ago, but the words, it takes a village.
It really does.
Right. And
Yes.
that's so true in so many ways of life. And I know for those of us that have that entrepreneurial spirit, we can
Yes.
be like, well, I'm the only one for the job, right? And I
Yes.
wish I had three of me
Put
to
me in,
help things.
coach.
Yeah, and reality is every one of us here on planet Earth has been given unique gifts, talents, and abilities.
Yes.
And I think there's great ways for all of us to shine.
Absolutely.
and to support and help each other in the organizations. And that's so true with the
Yes.
marketing as well.
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
well, thank you for joining us today on Point with Target River.
Yeah,
We're
thank
excited to
you.
be cheering you on.
Thank you so
and,
much.
so again, you'll be down end of August through beginning of September.
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
September 3rd is the big day, and it is televised. So you can look it up online and watch me compete for the title.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And thanks
Thank
for
you, Brian.
representing this great state as well.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for listening to On Point by Target River. If you're ready to grow your organization with real strategy that generates meaningful results, visit targetriver.com and connect with our team today. Stay focused, stay winning, and stay on point. We'll see you next time.